I've got the Hasselblad X1D-50C here. This made huge news when it was announced. It was the world's first medium format mirrorless camera. I mean, we've got a giant sensor in here and a body that is smaller than some of today's full-frame DSLRs. That's pretty amazing. But that was 2 years ago when it was released. And if you watch those early reviews, read the early reviews about it, it's clear that they released an unfinished camera. Not only was the operation quirky, to be kind, extremely buggy and frustrating, to be a little bit more accurate, it had an incredibly limited lens selection, just 2 lenses. Well, 2 years later, we've got a few more lenses, 2. We've got additional firmware updates that, in my experience, have made it a lot less buggy. But why am I talking about a camera that was released 2 years ago and is set at a price point that most of us wouldn't call affordable, about $10,000? And the simple answer is the size of this sensor. I want to shoot with medium format. Who doesn't? I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I was shooting with a Rebel APS-C from Canon. I was quite happy, but you know, we always wanted to move up to full frame. That seems to be the dream. Move up to that larger sensor size. Full frame's where it's at. Better resolution, better performance in low light. It's kind of a better thing. So, isn't it better when you move up to medium format? Even more so? Well, I've been dragging this camera around for the last 3 weeks. Took it on a trip to the desert Southwest. Took it on a little mini vacation outside Vancouver, British Columbia. And now we're here at Snoqualmie Falls, just outside Seattle, Washington. And I want to share what I love about this camera and some thoughts about medium format. All right, it's easy to come up with a couple of things that I love about this camera, and at this price point it should be. The first is the design. Now, this doesn't help you make better photos, but this camera is beautifully designed and it feels wonderful in the hand. I really wish you all could feel it. It's nicer than any camera I've ever put my hand on, and it goes beyond the grip and the thoughtfulness of design. It's the placement of the buttons, it's the lack of buttons. The simplicity of the operation of this camera is refreshing. I mean, it doesn't get between you and your shots. You're not worried about what you should assign different custom buttons. You're not wading through an overly complicated menu. There's a simple touchscreen interface and a very simple, clean menu that you navigate through from time to time. And it's just a lot of fun to be able to carry around this large sensor camera and have such a simple and easy to use interface. Let's talk about the lenses for a moment. These 2 lenses represent 50% of the total lens selection for this system right now, and well, that's pretty limiting. Now, there are adapters that Hasselblad has that allow you to use some of their other lenses on this system, but those are primarily manual focus only, which certainly slows down the operation and limits versatility. And they're going to be releasing many more lenses, they say, maybe as many as 14 this year. But I'm not convinced what we have now is a great value. I look at a lot of side-by-side shots I saw on the Sony, and they're good, But these are expensive lenses. I want them to be better. And when you pair it with the cost of this camera, that certainly drives up this kit cost very quickly, very high. Now, there are some instances where I really got a sense of depth and a 3D quality from these images that I haven't seen since shooting film. So I'm curious to see what these upcoming lenses look like and how they perform, and we'll just have to wait and see. Let's talk about what I don't love about this camera, and the list is it's a little long, and that's disappointing when you're spending this much. I mean, yes, there's been these firmware updates, but it is still a slow and somewhat buggy camera to use. That slowness in autofocus is painful at times. Its only contrast detect autofocus, and its hit rate, the number of times that it's accurate, it's not as high as I would like it to be. So that, along with, well, battery life. This is a mirrorless camera, and even though it's got a pretty big battery, it eats it fast. Those are pretty big cons. And when you're paying this much for a camera, even the fact that it is medium format, it makes it hard to really recommend to all but the narrowest group of people, those who really value style, maybe even over substance a little bit. But I am excited the fact that medium format has become much more accessible now. And there are competitors which also make it hard to recommend this camera. Some of those competitors are cheaper and are offering better quality, arguably, and better feature sets in some cases. Again, then I really struggle to say, well, it feels great in the hand and its operation is fantastic. Those only take you so far. But I'm excited to see where this medium format market goes because it's getting more accessible. I'm excited to see where Hasselblad goes as they release more of these lenses and update this camera even more. But for now, I mean, my line here is, this is a great medium format camera that is almost pocketable if you've got deep enough pockets and you want that style. If you found this video helpful, give it a quick thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more gear reviews, tips, tricks, and travel videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.